Hi folks, Bill Mues from Friends of Liberty United coming to you today, and I hope everyone had a great holiday season, and let's just look forward to a great 2023. With me is Tracey Barker. I've known Tracey for quite a while, and I know her family, and I've had some conversations with Tracey, and she has brought up a lot of concerns, a lot of things that I never knew existed. It's concerning autism. And folks, there's a lot of things that are going on with that, and Tracey's getting off the ground a group that I would like to get behind and support. So I've asked her to come on today, and Tracey, I have no idea, I can't fathom what these people that are dealing with this, the people that are affected by this, I can't fathom. And I never even thought of these things that were happening. So I'm probably going to be more than anything right now. I want to learn more. So I've asked you to come on here. And I guess the first question I have for you today is why are you here?
Well, I'm here because I'd like to bring awareness to autistic abuse. It's a big epidemic happening and nobody wants to talk about it.
And I don't hear a lot about it.
No, you don't, because it's hidden and it affects mostly children. And why children? Because autism steals their voice. They're nonverbal. There's some wonderful organizations out there that teach them to get their voice, but that doesn't come until later because they're usually a very small child, 2 to 3 years old, before they're even diagnosed. So people have to get help to give them a voice. And as time goes on, some of them learn how to cope and learn how to speak. And then there's times that they just don't have a voice.
Yeah, it just listening to you and some of these stories, it tugs at my heart. And sometimes I look and say, this is 2023. How can this stuff still go on?
Exactly.
So it's something that's resonated with me that I want to learn more about. Tell me about your findings. What's come up? What have you found? Well, this is your time. You go with it.
Well, in 2021, something happened that got me involved. A 6-year-old nonverbal child became a victim of a horrendous crime, kind of near to me. And I didn't have a choice. I had to stand up. I had to speak out because they were not able to.
Right.
And tried to fight for them. The crime was committed by a juvenile. Juveniles are untouchable, so there was no justice. So trying to find out more about this, I started doing some investigation, trying to find information about juveniles who do this. Couldn't find anything because it was hidden.
Because of their age?
Because of their age.
Seems like they have more rights
than
the
victims do. They do have more
victims
rights.
do.
They do have more rights, and the court looks at them as, they're a juvenile, they don't break laws. I guess they look at it as a learning thing. But in my research, I found adults documented with video. We're talking bus drivers. We're talking bus aides, special needs teachers, parents. I did some research. I found some horrible videos. It's documented of them actually abusing these children. You have other people standing around, special needs teachers standing around. It must happen every day because they just walk right past. They don't take the time to stand up and say, hey, enough's enough. They don't. It's documented. Then it becomes a court case. And then when it goes to court, it seems like everyone that I researched and went back to look to see what punishment they got, out of 8 scenarios, probably 5 was probation only.
Can you give us any examples?
I can give you examples. It's not just an Ohio thing. It's happening all over. So in Chicago, 2017, a 9-year-old autistic child with limited verbal skills was assaulted 27 times in 3-month period by their special needs bus aide and bus driver. This was documented. It was taken to court, but it had happened so many times, nobody told anybody. The mother started seeing signs something wasn't right. The child started acting out more. He became tantrums, biting, hitting, crying, not wanting to go. The mother didn't understand why, so she started investigating, and that's when they pulled the tapes on the bus.
Wow.
And this is what the people got. The bus aide pled guilty of 6 counts of a misdemeanor battery, and she only received 30 days in jail. The bus driver pled guilty to disorderly conduct, and he got community service.
So they mistreat this child physically, bully him, talk down, berates them. And the kid now, and God love them, in their mind, maybe they think this is an everyday occurrence.
Exactly. It becomes a routine because that's how autistic children and adults live by. And
Wow.
it goes on. And here in Arizona in 2021, this was a behavioral health technician for a chapter that helps autistic children, pled guilty to 4 counts of child abuse of a 4-year-old nonverbal autistic child. This child was being thrown into walls. This child was
This is all on video?
Yes, and I will be happy to share the videos. Numerous, over and over, on video because they are being videoed as they're doing their therapy session. He was booked, he made bail, and he was released with an ankle monitor, all on the same day. That case is still pending because it happened in 2021. Then we got another one, Northwest Baltimore, July 2019. A special needs teacher. She's on there showing, she's hitting, punching, throwing a 9-year-old autistic child to the ground numerous times.
And these are people that are trained to specifically handle
Not only are
children
they
with
trained, but they are most likely paid by the state to take care of your child, the people you trust.
Okay.
And these are documented. And the list goes on. At that time, that case is pending, so I'm still looking to see what's going on with that case. Then we have Queens, New York, sexually touching, a special needs teacher, sexually touching a 9-year-old nonverbal autistic child. Guess what he got? 10 years probation. And he gets to...
Didn't even have to sign up as a sex offender?
He did for
Okay.
life, but he still continues to do what he does. He just doesn't work with children anymore. Detroit, 2018. Special needs teacher, documented on video, beating an autistic child. She pled guilty of no contest to assault and battery. She received a plea deal, 2 years probation. The list goes on, but this is one that touches us here in Cincinnati. Do you remember the 5-year-old autistic child over in Coleraine?
Yes.
This was a mother, decided that she just didn't want to deal with him anymore.
Put him out on the street.
She just threw him out on the street. You see the news, you see where
He was wandering?
yes, he was
Okay.
wandering. He didn't know where to go. When they found him, he couldn't tell anybody anything.
No.
And you know what she got? She got to go to River City Correctional here in Cincinnati.
What is that? Is that a jail or is
It's
that
supposed to be a prison.
halfway house?
I really don't know what it is, but that's where they sentence her to 6 months.
Did she get her child back?
No, she did not get her child back because she didn't want her child.
Okay.
But she did have other children, and I believe she's working to get them back. But they were not autistic children. But she got 3 years probation, and along with 6 months in there, and she's probably out already because that was last year. The list just goes on, and there's no. You have to do some. Probation is nothing. It is a slap on the wrist. And that's just saying, in my opinion, don't get caught. If you're going to do it, just don't get caught.
Well, the thing that, it's all horrible, but the thing that resonates with me, and you mentioned that, is our state is probably paying a lot of these facilities
Yes.
state-funded money to take
Yes.
care of these children, and it's it's horrible. Yeah, after talking with you and I'm learning more and more about this, this is
It's an epidemic.
this isn't, I can't put a word on it. I can't fathom what this is. You know, are these only children that are victims?
No, it starts with children because they have to learn a different way of learning just to communicate, just to be out there. But they grow up. They become autistic adults. And 1 in 44 children born will have autism.
Wow.
And there's no cure. You don't know.
Do they know what causes it?
There's so many different studies out there right now. There's basically, you see on TV, if your child has autism and you took Tylenol. I don't think they actually know. I think they're just doing a lot of research, but nobody knows. But the thing of it is when that child is born, there's no sign of autism.
Right.
And the child grows. You see something's not right, but some of these children have to wait until they're 3, 4, 5, 6 years old before they're even diagnosed. And in the process, they're victims because the parents, they can only protect them, but then we have mothers that don't protect them.
Right.
So we have so many things that nobody wants to stand up and say, okay, what can we do to fix this? What do we do from here? And these children are just, all I can tell you is victims over and over.
So the local groups that are in Claremont County, have you reached out to them? Have you talked with them any?
I did reach out. Autism Speaks is a wonderful organization, and they do their best. They never prepare you for autistic abuse. You reach out to different places here in Claremont County, the special needs, and they say, hey, we want to get involved, or hey, we have a program, but it kind of fizzles out. Nobody really gets back with you. Nobody really says, hey, let's focus on this today. And so when you don't get anywhere, it just goes away.
Is the bottom line because they don't know how to the mechanics of dealing with it, you think?
I have no idea. I just know that in my opinion, it is the forgotten.
Right.
They don't have a voice. They're not the squeaky wheel. So therefore, if somebody doesn't fight for them, then they're forgotten.
Anything that has to do with hurting a child just breaks my heart, let alone one that has so much things against them. But you said there's a lot of good organizations out there.
There are organizations that take them, they teach them. Some children go to school, a normal school, which is for autistic children only. So they learn what you would learn in an elementary school. Then that's half of the day. And then they have to turn around and then they have to go to a therapy session to learn how to deal with just everyday things. How to tie their shoes, speech therapist, how to make that sound into a word. These kids don't have that carefree life that I can just, hey, I got to go to school and then I'm just going to go home and do my thing. They're constantly nonstop having to be supervised and taught. So they don't have downtime. And if they do have downtime, they're in their own world because they are hard children to deal with. But we love them anyway.
Sure.
We do what we have to do to make their life better.
Right.
And we need people to stand up, get out of the comfort zone. It's not a dirty word. Autism is very real, and autism abuse is very much real. And those that just walk past and don't do anything about it, You see that kid in the grocery store? It's not a brat. It's not an unruly child. It's a special child. And it just takes somebody to pat them on the back and say it's okay.
What about, there are laws to protect them, but what have you found with that?
Well, there's laws, yeah, but it's not upheld. That's one reason why I'm here speaking out. I come to Friends of Liberty. Friends of Liberty is shedding light in our community, letting everybody know, hey, these are things we don't stand for. And one of my big questions is, I want to know why these victims, when somebody commits a crime against these victims, why are they not hate crimes? Because they're sought out, they're targeted, you plan to do this to this person. Right. It's premeditated. So there are laws for hate crimes, but they're not upheld. And I want to know why they're not upheld because, for instance, little Marcus. Faisal, yes. Just this past summer, his murderer, the person that murdered him, is in prison. Mm-hmm. And he just came up for parole. Had he been given the title of a hate crime with it, we wouldn't be fighting to keep him in there.
What happens when they make something a hate crime? What is there more manpower put on investigating it? Is there a bigger punishment?
There's a bigger punishment, and it is our right. And it doesn't mean that your religion, your disability, your gender, we have that right, that if you were targeted against, like the different communities out there, the gays and lesbians, they are protected. The elderly, they're supposed to be protected because, and I don't know the whole laws behind it, mm-hmm. I just know it's not being upheld. Because if it was being upheld, you wouldn't see probation, probation, probation. You would see hardened criminals in jail, and you wouldn't have to worry about when are they going to get out, because it's a steeper law. It's mm-hmm. it's something that says, hey, you did this, you sought this person out, you thought about it, you decided to do it, and you did it.
So, one of the things that I've been reading and looking at is the people that are sexually abused that are autistic.
Yes.
I mean, these people are right what these sexual deviants want. They want somebody that can't speak. They want somebody that can't say, hey, you did me this way, you touched me,
exactly.
You did that. And it's a special kind of evil for somebody that does any of that, let alone this. And it hurts my heart. It does. I understand you started an organization. Tell us about that.
After the situation, I started an organization called Silent Tears. And people ask me, why Silent Tears? Because these victims are silent. And they can't tell you. And if they can't tell you, so if something bad's happening to you and you can't tell anybody, you're going to sit there, you're going to dwell on it, you're going to be upset, you're going to cry to yourself. There's nobody to help. So that to me is why Silent Tears came about. And if you can't speak, it's going to continue to happen because nobody's going to tell.
Yeah. So how can people get involved? Do you have a website or anything that they can talk about? I'm
in the process right now. That's why I reached out to Friends of Liberty to kind of help guide me. I'm one person, and over the weekend, I found this wonderful documentary that was just released 3 weeks ago, and it's called In a Different Key. And it was beautifully done. It was by a mother who raised a child with autism. And that child, he still has things that he has to deal with, but he's an adult now. And in the process of her trying to get answers and things, she met the first person ever diagnosed with autism. Mm. And he was... So
that's been pretty recent that they've really...
3 weeks ago.
No. I'm saying about the diagnosis. This isn't something that's been...
Oh,
when was it diagnosed?
He was first diagnosed in 1943 by a Dr. Leo Kanner. He was a child psychiatrist at the Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore. The first person was born in 1933 in Mississippi, and his name was Donald Triplett. And she kind of goes back and tells his story, and he was put into a state institution. He came from a family that had money, but they didn't know what to do. This is 1933. So they sought help, and because he couldn't speak, he couldn't interact, he couldn't do things like normal children, he was told just be put in an institution. There's nothing you can do, and just forget you even had this child.
And what kind of life did he have prior to going to the institution? Probably put in a room.
Most likely he was a child. So he was diagnosed at the age of 11. So stop and think about being in an institution, and then 11 years, as you grow up at 11 years old, all that he endured, that he couldn't tell anybody. So not until this doctor got involved and started working with him, then the town just kind of embraced him. And he grew up in the same town. Everybody knew him. Everybody was protective of him. He was one of the lucky ones because there was a town that took care of him. And that's what I want Clermont County to do. I want Clermont County to stand up and say enough. Marcus Feisel, he died 17 years ago. 17 years ago, he was murdered. And everybody was going to get involved. Everybody was going to do something. And 17 years later, we're still dealing with autistic abuse. He got a park named after him.
It kind of went silent because I remember when that happened. I did not live far from that park, and I was going to take a vacation day and help go down and do the searching when they did that.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's kind of just fizzled out. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's the right word for it. What is it that the community can do?
The community can stand up. The community, ask your questions. Ask our prosecutors and attorneys, why aren't these being handled as hate crimes? Why are they getting away with slaps on the wrist? The law's there. Uphold it. Make them accountable for what they've done.
Well, we've got some great state reps
We
in
do.
Clermont County.
We do.
And they get things done.
They do.
So, we need to sit down and talk with Adam Bird and Gene Schmidt about
Absolutely.
this. And they're always on the right side of things.
Yeah.
And we need to make them aware. And this isn't something that's going to go away with Friends of Liberty. This is something we're going to stick beside you and help push us along. But we need to have people reach out to
Yes.
you that have dealt with this.
Yes.
And we need to have people, hey, this happened to me. This is what happened. Here's, you need to get people together.
And I would love to do that. I would love to be able to, like I said, I'm one person. But as a community, we come together and we can get the proper people in place. And, tell us, this is what we need to do. Business owners, get involved. There's autistic children that can't go places like Chuck E. Cheese. They can't go because they are overstimulated.
What does that mean, overstimulated?
Overstimulated, if you've noticed children with loud noises.
Yeah,
or
I see one at a baseball game. Yeah.
They put their hands over their ears, very anxious.
They had headphones over this child.
Well, some do and some don't. And so there's ways that we can tone down their environment where they can also enjoy. And I would like for some of the communities, the stores in the communities or businesses to embrace the autistic child. Take that one day and say, this day on this month, we're going to open it to the autistic families. Tone it down. Make it where that child can enjoy it. And then, if one business sees it, another business can jump in. We need big brothers and big sisters. They just want a friend. They just want to be included. Children, and children are cruel. They don't mean to be. That's just children. But they run from them. They have no friends. They have their little environment when they go to school or their therapy session, but when they go home, they're very lonely. They can't.
Wow, you're going to get me going here. I mean, it just
So-
breaks my heart.
And it doesn't stop. So when the normal child goes to school and then they have their summer break, these children don't. They're constantly going to school. They have no outlet. They don't have a best friend. And when I ask for big brothers or big sisters, just come be their friend. Just, they may not be able to communicate with you, but a hug.
Yeah.
I'm here. Just a friend.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. You hate seeing any child set out from anything. You hate seeing any child not being a part of something, and these children, they don't.
They're labeled.
Yeah, and I'm starting to see, after talking with you so much, I'm starting to see more and more that they're kind of treated like second-class citizens.
Yes, absolutely. And hate to say it, but in Hamilton County, that's where they're treated with no respect. They don't have a voice, so they don't have a name, so they don't have a face. And, Claremont County, I want to take the time and thank them personally, because there were so many questions that nobody wanted to answer. And the team at the Claremont County Prosecutor's Office, they did take that time. And I really want to thank them for that.
Good. Well, what's your next step?
My next step is I'm in the process of opening an organization with the bank. I would love for people to become where they will donate to give these children, that picnic in the summer. Bring in, the face painting, or
Make it normal.
make a normal day, a fishing day for the kids. Just be a friend, and we just start small. We keep bringing people in, and then they don't feel second-class citizen. They feel like you and me, and that's my goal. As I try to get, I'm not going to try. I'm moving forward, and I appreciate Friends of Liberty wanting to get involved and wanting to be a part of this, because this is our community, and we can be like that community in Mississippi. We can embrace our autistic victims, and it starts with one person.
Yeah, and I'd like to put our website out there too. If anybody has any questions that they would like to send over, I'll see that Tracey gets it, or if you have any questions or anything that you want to relay to us, our email is info at FOLUnited.com. Spell out the word united. Info at FOLUnited.com. I mean, we'll get it to her. This is a noble cause. This is a cause that you don't want to. Life is hard enough for kids today. We don't want something like this more on a child that has some things that they're trying to overcome and everything. And I hope that you continue coming to our Friends of Liberty United meetings so that you can keep us abreast of what's going on. I hope that your organization takes off. I know that Bill Thomas, our president and founder of Friends of Liberty United, this has resonated with him as well. Yes. And we're gonna not just throw this off to the side. Folks, if people in the business community, that's a wonderful idea to have a fishing day for these kids, to have some people that are a picnic, just something to give them some normalcy. And I'm going to get choked up here, but when you talk about just a hug or a pat on the back, my God, we give that to dogs.
Yep.
Please, let's get behind these kids. Let's help them. Let's make them accepted. Let's get with our state reps and talk about trying to change these laws. These are good people that are there, and they're going to, we need to make them aware of what's going on and give them examples. And
I actually have had the opportunity to speak with Adam Bird.
He's your rep.
He's my rep, and We're just trying to get a time together. He's let me know that this is a cause that he wants to get involved in.
He's a good man.
He is.
Jean is a good woman.
I love the opportunity to meet her. Together, they've made changes, and I would love for anybody that can guide me, anybody that can make suggestions, anybody that can help get this organization off the ground, help me help these children. And one thing the only way I can express this is the Rascal Flatts song, I Will Stand By You.
Okay.
And just listen to the words, because that focuses on what I want to do. I want to stand up. I want to help them and be their voice. And I just need my community to stand with me to do that.
Well, you and I'll talk off air. I've got some ideas too that I'm very confident that Bill Thomas will get behind. We've got some things rolling around in our head here that we'll work with you. But folks, please get behind this. If you have questions, if you can help be a part, if you can stand there and help, if we get a fishing thing together for these kids and you can help bait a hook for these kids, please help be a part of it. This is a noble, noble cause. These are children. These are God's children. And let's get behind it. Once again, info@folunited.com. And give your website one more time.
Actually, I don't have a website.
Okay.
I just have a Facebook page. It's called Silent Tears.
Okay.
I just need the backing. I just need the right people. I need to either change laws or I need laws upheld.
Folks, thank you so much for today. This has kind of been a heart tugger for me. I want to thank everybody, and please, if you can't offer anything but prayer, put prayer behind this.
Yes.
You know, God can make things happen. So once again, we appreciate you. We thank you. And until next time, Bill Mues, Friends of Liberty United. My guest today was Tracey Barker with Silent Tears. And thank you.
Thank you.